So I'm gonna jump over to show you my design of my smart contract. So my smart contract, the name will be feature request, and I'll have three different variables that I'm gonna create. First off, I'm gonna have a request, which is going to be a struct data type. And this is every time somebody sends me a request, I need to know who sent the request. So I'm going to have a address of the requester, and then I want to know what the request is. So I'm going to have a string of a description, and then I want to know how many people agree with this person. So if somebody made a request and 10 other people want it, then it'll have 10 upvotes. And I want to keep track of that inside of a uint. And then finally, I will have to you know, make sure that people don't vote twice on the same feature. So I don't want one person voting 100 times for one feature and that being the requester. So I will have a mapping to keep track of that. Now, traditionally, one way to do it is to do a for loop and just looping through your array of requesters or upvoters, and then making sure that this number doesn't exist or the address of the person upvoting doesn't already exist in that array. Now the issue with that is if you have a million upvotes, then this will take a very long time. And if you didn't know, in the blockchain it processes even slower than a normal traditional server setup would. So that is the reason why I'm going to be using a mapping here. Next up, I'll have a board manager. So I want to allow somebody to create a sort of a board of different feature requests. So if I am company A and I build a software and I want to get user feedback, I will be creating the board, and then the different users can interact with this board and submit multiple feature requests. Um, Now the manager will be tied to an address, and this address will be whoever created this or contract in the first place, this instance of this contract. Lastly, I will have a request array, which just helps me keep track of all the different requests I have inside of the board. And then for functions, I'll have three functions. I'll have obviously the constructor, which every contract requires one. And in this constructor, I'll do one thing, and that is to set the person who created the board to be the manager of the board. I'll also have a function to allow anybody to create a feature request, and I'll call that create request. And finally, I'll have a upvote request, and that is to allow anybody to vote once on a specific feature that they want to, upvote and make it a more of a priority for the team to implement.